So another fun story. A friend of mine came up to me the other day and was like, "Hey, Dr. Allo, I've been running pretty much 2 to 3 miles a day, at least 4 days a week for the last 3 months, and I haven't lost any weight." Now, this guy's a friend of mine. He works in the information technology industry. Super smart guy, and he had read somewhere or talked to some people, and they told him you got to run and do some activity, and you lose a ton of weight. So he came to me. He's like, "You're the weight loss guy. I'm not losing any weight. So what do I do?" So I explained to him, like, listen, first of all, there's two things going on here. Number one is they have found over time in these long-term studies that when somebody starts a new activity, they'll lose a little bit of weight in the beginning, but then it comes back up. There's compensatory mechanisms. Your body will increase your appetite and whatnot, reduce your NEAT, whatever it is, and then your weight goes back to what it was, and they may have even gained weight. He's like, "Yeah, doc, that's exactly what happened to me." I was like, "Okay, well, that's one part of it." The other part of it is there's this thing called the constrained model of exercise. Kevin Hall and a lot of other researchers have now proven this, but Kevin Hall kind of started this. They've done research on human beings. These are not rice or fake studies or misinterpretations. They've done studies on actual people where they put them into an exercise program and they measure their total daily energy expenditure. Now, what we used to think is the linear model. There was something called the linear model, and I'll put the graphs up here, or maybe I'll show them as I'm talking. The linear model of exercise says that as we exercise more, we burn more and more and more and more calories. Okay, that turned out not to be true. Otherwise, you could run for 6 hours a day and burn 1,000 calories or 1,200 calories. That has never turned out to be true. Humans just cannot burn that many calories. So we believe in something, and I think Pontzer was also involved in these studies as well. He did these studies on the Aborigine tribes, or the tribes that are mostly hunter-gatherers, and are more active. But back to Kevin Hall. So then they proposed this constrained model where they looked at people, studied them, had them wear the DCO2 mask and drink doubly labeled water, and actually measure their total daily energy expenditure, measure all their intake, all of the breathing out, or calories they burn and whatnot. They found that it's actually there's a cap to the amount of exercise and calories you can burn with exercise. So when you're inactive, here's how it looks. When you start activity, you burn calories, and then it goes like this, and it kind of plateaus. And then what your body starts doing when it plateaus, if you keep exercising, you continue exercising, it plateaus, but your body takes away from your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is your daily non-exercise activity. This is your walking, your steps, your fidgeting, movement, other kind of activity. Maybe your body makes you kind of sit more, not do as much, those kind of things. Your body finds a way of compensating so that you're not burning that many calories with your exercise. So regardless of how much you exercise, it's the amount of calories you can burn is constrained, and your total daily energy expenditure is not going to go up that much. Furthermore, if you look at the charts of how much exercise actually contributes to your total daily energy expenditure, it's not that much. It's like 5%, which is kind of what I've been saying for years in my lectures, even before all of these studies. 20 years ago, when I first started lecturing on obesity and weight loss, we know that diet contributes the vast majority to your total daily energy expenditure, and exercise contributes 3 to maybe 5%. We now have quantified it based on studies of somewhere to 3 to maybe 7% at the most. So you can change your total daily energy expenditure by about 5%, let's say. No matter how much you exercise, you can only affect that 5% because your body's going to take away from the RMR, from the NEAT, from the thermic effect of food, from the, all the other stuff that you do. So when you exercise to try to lose weight, you're only affecting that small little 5%, and the other stuff adapts to meet it. So if you exercise more than 5%, your body takes away from your NEAT and your total daily energy expenditure stays the same. Now, with that said, they found that people who are less active do benefit the most from this. When you are, let's say you just sit at home all day, you're not very active, If you start being active, you do burn more calories in the beginning. So when you first start exercising and you first start getting on the treadmill or biking or whatever it is you might be doing, your energy expenditure does go up initially. But then as you keep doing it and proceed doing it, it's capped again, and then you're just flatlined again, and your body's taken away from some other stuff. So that's kind of like the summary version of it. I'll put the links below, and you can click on the studies and read them. People who are more overweight also seem like they benefit more from being active. But also there's a compensatory mechanisms, and your body does start taking away from other stuff. So when you first start doing something, if you're inactive and you're obese, it works to a certain point. But then after that, you're only affecting about 5% of your total daily energy expenditure. I hope you learned a lot.